Hello and welcome to the 87th International Motor Show here in Geneva, Switzerland. I'm Will Dalton.
And I'm Vanessa Cuddiford. This is one of the biggest and most prestigious events in the world for the car industry. More than 700,000 people will come from all four corners and they'll see more than 148 new cars being unveiled.
So with lots going on, what will be the highlights of this year's show?
Come and join us. Let's get the show on the road.
New models and new technology, the very latest from the world's biggest brands.
The next generation, connected, self-driving and even flying into the future.
From super to mega cars, the ultimate toys for the super rich.
I call it a game changer.
And we'll reveal this year's winner of the European Car of the Year.
2017 is looking like the year for bold, imaginative ideas, new technology, big data and eye-popping debuts. Same old is now history.
For the trade, meeting, seeing and showing in Geneva are all important. It's a voyage of discovery.
What I like in this show is that it has a human dimension.
The whole family, the whole manufacturers are meeting here.
There's a buzz about it, there's an excitement. The industry is really sort of on edge. Where do we go next?
Geneva is important because it's one of the first big car shows of the year. Main dealership groups are able to come here and look at all the new products to see what they want to have in their own showrooms.
Manufacturers from across the industry unveil their cars here, keen to excite the eager eyes and lenses of the press, the trade and their valuable customers.
Basically, the Arteon is the top-of-the-line product of the Volkswagen brand. It basically sits well above the Passat range in the limousine terms and offers a completely new design. It's basically a GT design, very elegant, coupe-style version, but actually with all of the virtues that people and customers love about Volkswagen.
BMW unveiled the newly upgraded 5 Series. They claim the 520D diesel engine can run 62.8 miles per gallon and get from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 7.8 seconds. The big news here is its autonomous features, but more on that later. Sales are good.
We sold roughly 2.4 million of the last generation, the 5 Series. I think for a premium manufacturer, those are numbers which would put many volume manufacturers into the shade.
Great attention here at the premiere of the Audi RS5 with the same 2.9-litre bi-turbo V6 engine as the new Porsche Panamera. Its top speed is 174 miles per hour. Rising above is the new Mercedes-Benz Cabriolet, receiving excellent reviews.
E-Class Coupe starts with our new design language, as we say, the first of the new, because it had no lines anymore. We skipped the dropping line, so it's very organic, it's round, it's athletic, and we are very proud of the new E-Class Coupe.
The new E-Class Cabriolet has many of the features of its predecessor, but they've been refined. So we have the air cap, which is the windshield that comes out when the roof's down. The soft top itself has been soundproofed so much that it's almost as quiet as the E-Class Coupe. And you can take the top up and down when you're on the move, going up to 50 kilometers an hour. Under new Chinese management, sweeping changes to Volvo were keenly anticipated. Volvo's big reveal at the Geneva Motor Show was the second-generation XC60 SUV, a new 5-seat 4x4. Many features, including the seats, upholstery and dashboard, and 8-inch touchscreen, are now the same as the larger XC90. In addition, the new XC60 is slightly longer, wider and lower than its predecessor.
Volvo's come a long way in the past few years and they're building cars that I think are really engaging with people.
Cars, cars and even more cars. Talk is of premieres, updates and innovations, but Geneva isn't all business. The car is really the star of the show.
Automation, connectivity are fast developing features that manufacturers are keen to highlight. But what will they mean to ordinary drivers? Today's new cars increasingly include so-called automation features, such as self-braking, self-parking, automatic hill assist descent control, and even automatic accident avoidance. There's a great deal more in the pipeline.
We have the latest pedestrian front emergency braking, we have rear park assist with traffic control, we have the intelligent adaptive front lighting, intelligent chassis systems. Everything is focusing around the technology, and with ProPilot as the first building block towards autonomous drive, this is going to take the industry to the next level.
What we see clearly is the electrification of cars. We see the fact that cars are becoming more and more connected, so they will be able to speak to each other, they will be able to drive in certain conditions on their own. These are big changes.
The latest connected cars were also on show here in Geneva, and they're intended to improve safety and the driving experience for us all.
Tell me a little bit about the connectivity in the car and how it will seamlessly interact with my lifestyle, I suppose.
So your phone seamlessly connects with this vehicle. At this point, most people's lives, the center of what they do is their telephones, and they want that to seamlessly connect with this vehicle. And that is now a Bluetooth seamless connection. What you have on your phone, you have on this vehicle. The more interesting story in connectivity is how you connect to the road. And again, that's with autonomous drive. And in traffic jam situations, you just sit there in the car, periodically just touching the steering wheel to say that the driver is in control, but it's managing itself in traffic all the way to a stop, accelerating again when the traffic jam opens up.
Automation and connectivity are massively expensive. Will car manufacturers become computer developers too?
There are those companies that will be able to afford to invest in autonomous driving on their own, such as Mercedes, to develop it. And there are those companies that take a pragmatic decision that they'll outsource some of that work to software companies. So, for example, Volvo has teamed up with Uber to try and develop autonomous cars jointly. So there's not a winner or a loser, it's just who will own the brain and the intellectual property of the autonomous car, and that's a battle that's being fought right now.
Coming up in part 2, cars of the future today, and why alternative fuels aren't the only thing taking off.
Another hot topic this year is alternative fuels. After the emission scandals of recent years, it appears a greener future is beckoning.
Cars of the future are likely to be greener, partly due to new legislation and partly just to meet customer demand. Here at the International Motor Show, there's quite a range on offer, from solar panels to hydrogen gas. But who will come out on top? Hyundai took the opportunity here to unveil their latest generation of environmentally friendly cars. This is Hyundai's hydrogen fuel cell concept car, and it reaffirms the brand's commitment to alternative fuels. Between now and 2020, it'll be bringing out more than a dozen cars which are eco-friendly. Hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electric, and of course fuel cell. Hydrogen fuel cells use natural gas being converted to electricity.
So what you see here is the FE, that's the code of the vehicle, fuel cell concept car. And many of these design items of this vehicle will be in the mass-produced vehicle, which is launched by next year.
However, an alternative is a first from Audi, a synthetic natural gas which can be made from natural sources.
Audi is producing the synthetic gas, the e-gas, by using wind and solar energy and capturing CO2 out of the air. So this synthetic gas captured first the CO2, what you later will emit again into the air. So the CO2 reduction is around 80%, and this is a very special offer. This is unique in the industry because Audi is the only car manufacturer providing this synthetic gas production in the background.
Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles represent less than 0.1% of all vehicles produced globally. By contrast, the Financial Times predicts that electric cars could make up a quarter of the world's automobiles by 2040. Is that the end of petrol as we know it?
Now, the combustion engine is definitely still has quite a bit of life left in it, but the talk about particulate pollution and damage to health, which has been brought about by Dieselgate, has basically made people question what the alternatives are. And we've seen a bit more emphasis on hybrids, and we've seen even more emphasis on accelerating electric car development. I think advances in battery technology and cost may see electric cars gain the edge over some of the other alternative fuel vehicles that we've seen in the past, such as ethanol or, for example, hydrogen. They too have their place, but they might be more niche applications. The mainstream product that is emerging is definitely the electric car.
Here in Geneva, innovation seems to be without limits, and it's looking forward and backwards.
Following a surge in demand for Volkswagen's iconic camper vans just after the millennium, production was forced to stop in 2013 due to new health and safety regulations.
Here in Geneva is a sight for Scooby and Shaggy's eyes. This is Volkswagen's ID Buzz microbus. It's no longer a camper van, now it's a self-driving electric minibus. It's autonomous, and it's a glimpse into the field of electric mobility because, as far as connectivity goes, it's fully loaded.
Such a vehicle can come only from the brand Volkswagen. We have had those VW buses ever since 1950, and of course we want to serve to that heritage.
Okay, well, let's take a look inside, shall we?
All right. So Vanessa, what you can see is everything is very, very tidy, very spacious, and the question is, where is my steering wheel?
Yeah.
Now, this car is in a self-driving mode right now, something that we also foresee for cars in 2020 and beyond. Now, if I put my fingers onto the VW logo and press it, the steering wheel comes towards me, and now, as the procedure is finished, the environment changes and I can actually drive this. So if you look at the wheels of the car, they are actually now turning, and I'm in a normal driving mode. I also have an implementation of certain buttons. For instance, when I want to go into drive or reverse, it's also indicated here right in the steering wheel. And let's say now I'm in a certain position from which I want the car to take over. All I need to do is press the logo again. The steering wheel goes back into its original position and walks straight into the dashboard.
With the car recognising its users' smartphones, it can personalise their experience. All of its key data can be seen via an augmented reality display in the driver's line of sight. But it needs 5G to achieve this.
If you consider that we nowadays use a 3G or 4G standard for the transmitting, in the future that's going to be a 5G standard. And if you convert this into, for instance, pictures of traffic situations, nowadays it's 25 pictures per second. In the future it's going to be 120 pictures per second. With this generation of cars where we sit right now, there is no compromise anymore because it's purely engineered for the use as an electric car.
It's certainly gaining a lot of attention. It's still a concept, but they tell me it's very near production, probably 2020. So will this 2020 vision catch on?
The pop-up is an even more futuristic dream on show here. It's an autonomous flying car being developed by the mighty Airbus Group, a global leader in commercial aeronautics, defence and space markets. The carbon fibre car is intended to be electrically propelled by 8 rotors. That's according to Matthias Thompson, General Manager of Airbus Urban Air Mobility.
Is this the future? Tell us a little bit about this.
Absolutely. We can see that by combining ground and air transport with a capsule and making it modular, we can create a seamless passenger journey from whenever you need to go from A to B. You can fly over the city sky when the roads are congested. Okay, so let's have a look at it.
Yeah, let's get in.
Well, the first thing you'll do is identify yourself, and here we're using wearable technology and sensors inside. This should hopefully recognize me. Here we are.
Hello.
And this gives the platform and the system knowledge about who I am, what my preferences normally are for different modes of transport. Based on that, he's suggesting that I first take a piece of ground transport, then connect to the AER, and finally fly across Paris. And as you can see here, when the route chart, you get the speed, you get your time and distance, and finally the price. The platform here is taking care of everything, and you will just be able to enjoy your ride inside the capsule and not having to do any of the things you'd normally associate with transportation. We think that the big problem of mobility in our big cities is clear to everyone, and getting from A to B is becoming an incredible hassle. So anything we can do to make that easier is something we're passionate about, and vertical flight using the sky is just now, with new technology making it possible, something we really want to bring out. Given that it's electrical and it has to be electrical for us, we also become pollution free, which I think is a good thing for our cities.
So I'm sure, just like me, everybody is now going, when is this going to happen? What's the time frame on the project?
Well, we see a commercial and fully sort of certified and ready system to be available in 7 to 10 years, which gives us a bit of time to overcome some of the barriers around new regulation, infrastructure. Although it's not a big thing, some still need to be built, and finally having a dialogue with cities about this new mode of transport and overcoming some of the potential public acceptance questions that might come up along the way.
Well, this is certainly one to look forward to. We keep my eye on this and looking forward to my first flight or journey, I suppose.
Yeah, we call it a trip from A to B, where we become mode agnostic. We focus on the service.
Wonderful. Look forward to it.
For now, this is a concept model. The video of theirs shows only a simulation of what Airbus say the pop-up will do. I'll take some convincing. Vanessa.
We're going to take a short break now. Coming up in part 3, Tata's new sports car, glamorous supercars, and car of the year. See you soon. Hello again. India's Tata Motors is marking its 20th year here at the International Motor Show in Geneva, and in that time it's made quite an impression. Now, under its sub-brand Tamo, it's launching into the sports car category, which it says will be future ready.
This is it, the Race Mode, a two-seater sports car just under 4 meters in length with a rear-mounted 1.2-litre turbocharged engine. Tata says the Race Mode will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in under 6 seconds. Its design is said to be a modern-day interpretation of the Opel Speedster.
So we're inside the race mode now, and the first thing you notice is that you get a real feel of being in a race car. Well, why? Well, firstly, you have a racing steering wheel. All the buttons are on the steering wheel. The indicators, the headlamps, the horn, and the start-stop for the engine, they're all here. The gear change, well, that's done by nice flappy paddle sticks on your right and left-hand side. In front, you've got 3 LCD screens, very bright and very true and very easy to see, and that's all controlled by switches just down to your left-hand side. There's more switches to control heating, parking sensors, etc. But the one question remains, is it a supercar?
What we have presented with Racemo is the first connected car in India. The connectivity platform and technology provided on the Racemo has been jointly developed with Microsoft. Why Tamo? The requirements for the future are so substantially different and not necessarily in an urgent need today already that we said we cannot put all of these requirements as a proof of concept on the mainstream products. And that was the birth of Tamo. In the initial stage, Tamo was not supposed to be a sub-brand. It was just, we call it the ring-fenced vertical, a kind of incubator within Tata Motors with a different way of thinking, a different way of working, different participation of suppliers. And we accommodate all of these technology focused, all of this new business model focused, and this different way of thinking and working kind of approach, low volume, low investment, under the umbrella of Tamo.
So Tata's unveiled a sports car, and unveiling it in Geneva means they're taking the fight to the Europeans. They want to be recognized by the European peers. Geneva is the sports car show that kicks off in the world, and Tata's come here to present it. So the emerging markets have arrived in Geneva, and they want to show that they have the prowess to compete here.
Expected to retail at $37,000, the Tamo Racemo will be the most affordable sports car in India. Tata say it's likely to go on sale by mid-2018, but like many supercars, there won't be many of them.
Thanks, Will. Now, high-performance, high-design cars have always caught the eye. These supercars travel at eye-watering speeds and they're super expensive. They're cool, they're flashy, and the latest designs are being unveiled here to great excitement.
Welcome to the interior of a true supercar. This is the inside of the Lamborghini Huracan, the latest model to be introduced by the company at the Geneva Motor Show. Lamborghini unveiled its Huracan Performante. It sports an aggressive aero pack with a huge rear wing. Additional power comes from the car's 602 brake horsepower, 5.2-litre V10 engine. The price is an eye-watering $336,000, but for that, you get speed. The Huracan already set a new lap record at the Nürburgring.
The focus is in the car, in the performance of the car, in the enjoyment of the car. When you buy a Lamborghini, you want to buy something different, as I said. You want to buy an emotion, a status. You are part of a family, an exclusive family, that the brand is leading the fact that you want to be, with us. Therefore, connectivity, I would say, is not a priority in this segment, because you need really to have the steering wheel. You want to focus on the driving. You want to focus on showing what you have.
The Ferrari 812 Superfast competes for the market share against the Lamborghini. This is Ferrari's new flagship Grand Tour. It's the most powerful and fastest production line model in the marque's history. Its 6.5-litre V12 engine helps reach a top speed of over 211 miles per hour. Wow. So Ferrari or Lamborghini? As a normal person, how will I choose?
Gorgeous looking thing, but I mean out of the realms of most normal people. But I think the interesting thing about this show, it's been a real mix of cars that real people drive, and that if the lottery came up, you would aspire to something like the Huracan, but it's not a normal person car.
No, not sure the Ferrari 812 or 812 is a normal person's car either.
I do sort of question whether in this day and age, when we're all concerned with CO2, we're concerned with saving the planet, manufacturers are supposed to be responsible. A car like that, I'm not really sure that there is still a place for it in the world, but there are enough very rich people to want to see it there.
The Car of the Year trophy has been highly sought after by all car manufacturers from all over the world since the competition began in 1964. Experts say it's hard to remember another year where so many exceptional new vehicles are in the running.
So what makes one car rise up above the rest? In 2017, will it be design, performance, or the use of the latest technology? 7 finalists were selected to compete in this year's Car of the Year. Alfa Romeo, Citroën, Mercedes, Nissan, Peugeot, Toyota, and Volvo. There was great excitement when the winner was announced.
Ladies and gentlemen, Car of the Year 2017, the Peugeot 3008.
I would like to thank you, the jury, and all of you, for this fantastic honor. Thank you very much.
The judges liked the Peugeot 3008's bold body styling and the interior design.
We've just won this award of Car of the Year 2017, and we are very proud of it. This is the fulfillment of a team job of over 5 years, so we are very proud, and yeah, it's a great achievement.
This impressive interior is just one of the reasons why judges voted this Car of the Year. It's the 5th time that a Peugeot's won, but only the 1st time for an SUV.
Well, I think it was a very worthy winner. I was very surprised by the 3008 when I drove it, because I think it's by far the best driving Peugeot I've ever driven. They're not necessarily in the past known for their wonderful driving dynamics, and this is a really good car, and it's bang on the money with the type of cars that people are now looking for, the slightly pumped up SUV look, but with decent CO2. So it's a car that I think is a very worthy winner.
Well, that's it for this year. Plenty to look forward to in 2017. So it's back to the future from me.
And onwards to the future from all of us here at the International Motor Show in Geneva. I'm Will Dalton.
I'm Vanessa Cuddiford. Thank you for joining us.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.